Welcome to the Dorms podcast, everyone. How are you? How is everyone doing?
Great.
Can't complain.
Yeah. You're still in Arizona, right, Miles?
Yeah.
How's it out there? How's the weather? Better than in Wyoming?
Definitely better than Wyoming 98% of the time. I think the lowest it's gotten is maybe 50 here.
I swear to God. That's really nice.
It's
yes. Yeah, it's really cold. It's very cold. Very cold. Well, no dilly-dallying. Technically, our last podcast of 2022, a little bit into 2023, at least topic-wise. So today we're just going to be going over our top 10 movies of 2022 and kind of talking about some of the movies that the shows that we watched. Sorry. I know we didn't watch a lot of shows, all of us, but
I watched a couple.
Yeah, but a couple isn't a lot. So it's mainly going to be just our movies. We'll go over them, talk about them more than we already have before. So
2022 as a whole.
Exactly, 2022 as a whole. And there's going to be no news or the game this week on this podcast, just because
short on time.
That, and also we just want to be able to talk about the movies as much as we can. So to get right into it, do you want to start with our number 10s, or do you want to start with a couple of honorable mentions that didn't make it in there?
I think I got a couple honorables.
All right.
Yeah, I say we start with our 10.
All right. Well, I only have 2 honorable mentions. I had Elvis and Barbarian, and they were both 9-1s. They just barely didn't make it in my top 10.
Dude, you like Barbarian way more than me. And Elvis.
Well, I like to preface that just because they were 9-1s and they didn't make it in. Like, I have a couple that are below 9-1s that made it onto the list. It's just more about enjoyment than the rating. But I really enjoyed Barbarian. It scared the hell out of me, man. Like, for those who don't see it, I'm not going to spoil it because it is still kind of new. But when you guys were telling me about it, and I was like, I don't think it'll be that bad. Nope. It's pretty bad.
There's no way you can guess where that movie goes.
Yeah. And then Elvis, I mean, the first time I watched it, I really, really enjoyed it. I tried to give it a rewatch, and I just don't think it really has a lot of rewatchability factor. It's just kind of a slow burner. The story is amazing, so I like someone like Miles who really likes Elvis. I can understand them like rewatching it a couple times, but just a casual moviegoer or someone that's just kind of watching it to add to their like the movies they've watched, I don't really see there being much of a rewatchability factor. So that's why I didn't make my top 10. Still great movies though.
Yeah. I got, just as honorable mentions, The Northman came out earlier last year. I'd say top 3 best looking films of last year. And Robert Eggers is just a genius when it comes to dark, gritty movies. And then I know someone's going to talk about Glass Onion later, but I put The Fallout as an honorable mention with Jenna Ortega. Came out very early last year, and
January.
That shit hit me. That was a very good movie. Very sad.
Miles, you have any honorable mentions?
Not really. I mean, I didn't watch that many movies last year, and I watched. I will admit it. Half my list is probably from the last 3 weeks of watching movies. Because I'm looking at my letterbox right now from last year, and it's rough. Like, it's a rough look. But,
rough last year for movies?
Yeah.
Dude, I honestly think that my list is very unorthodox to you guys. You guys are going to be probably pretty surprised by some of the picks I have.
Mine's
but okay, let's just get straight into it.
I have honorable mentions.
Matthew's got honorable mentions.
Oh, I thought he just. My bad. I thought he just
Matthew
went.
only saw 10 movies.
Yeah, my bad. I thought Matthew already went.
No. Okay, so my honorable mentions are Where the Crawdads Sing. I'm not usually a like romance movie guy, but that one was a good movie.
I should have watched it. I won't lie. I should have watched it.
And then my other honorable mention is Prey.
Both there.
At least it wasn't Firestarter.
No,
that's his number one.
I fucking called it like 3 weeks ago that he was going to have Where the Crawdads Sing somewhere on his list.
But I mean, I can't hate the guy. I was actually looking at some of the ratings, and it wasn't looking too super bad. I wanted to watch it, but I just didn't get around to it.
Fair enough.
Okay. So I can start us off with my number 10. So at 10 I had a Glass Onion at a 9.0. And the reason I put it 10 is I really enjoyed it. I've already seen it twice actually. I watched it one by myself and then once with my mom. And on the second rewatch, I thought I wouldn't enjoy it as much because I already knew like everything that was going to happen. But I actually enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy it as much, but I still enjoyed it just because even though I knew what was happening, it was interesting seeing like the body language and how they're going to act when you already know what's happening.
Yeah.
And I'd like to give props to I don't know her name, but Daniel Craig and the girl who plays. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking.
Monáe.
Yeah, but really, I didn't know that was Janelle Monáe. Never mind. Okay, well, anyways, yeah, I want to give props to them because they really do make it very, very okay. I'm fucking spoilers ahead, man. I'm tired of this. Spoilers ahead. They play it so well in the movie, knowing that she's not Cassandra and she's Helen. And when you rewatched it, I was like, okay, it's so much better. Not so much better, but better just because the way they acted on the screen, it really made it seem like even the second time that they were confused, like who was trying to kill him. So I really enjoyed it. But I definitely think it had a lot of flaws. It had a lot of flaws dialogue wise.
Bro, it has the best line of the year.
Yeah, it does. Okay.
So dumb.
It's just plain dumb.
So
It's
brilliant.
brilliant.
No, it's just dumb.
I also think they went with the Clue route a little too hard because I felt like they were really trying to go for like the classic murder mystery, and I feel like he got jammed up somewhere in there. But there was just a couple things that I was like, that kind of confuses me. Like when he was like, I didn't send you a box, and then he was like, well, I got the box, and he was like, perfect, you're staying here. Like I'd be like, well, I didn't invite you. I'm going to send you back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, stuff like that. But yeah, that's my number 10.
Matthew.
So my number 10 is Top Gun Maverick.
Damn.
It is like it
It's
was a
wild
really
that
good
that's 10
movie.
for you though.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. For me, I really enjoyed the acting and the action in this movie. Like the action looked not
It was
peak, but
peak.
it was
So
good
if it was peak, why is it 10?
because there was better.
Fair enough.
Fair
Fair
enough,
enough.
So yeah,
I did not see Maverick this year.
Oh wow.
I did. It was good.
I was gonna watch the original, but I just never did.
Well, of course, Matthew. If it's on your list, of course you watched it, dummy.
No,
That's crazy though. It's like, isn't it like on Paramount?
You gotta rent it. It might be on Paramount, but I don't have Paramount.
yeah, I know.
Who has Paramount Plus?
No one does.
I do.
Old people who watched Yellowstone?
I have Paramount Plus.
Do you watch Yellowstone?
No, I watch iCarly.
Oh, okay, makes sense.
Hey, Miles.
This is a very weird pick because a lot of the movies I watched last year, as I said, were kind of just whatever. But my number 10 is Pearl at an 8.2.
Damn.
It's a good sequel. I have the first one ranked higher, but it's a worthy sequel, I would say. It's way more disturbing than the first one, but by a goth.
Oh.
She's
This
like
guy.
has a 6-minute dialogue at the very end of the movie, and I'm like, the first time I watched it, I'm like, okay, this is just going on way too long. But then the second time I watched that specific scene, I actually was listening to what she was saying, and I'm like, holy shit. This like
8.2 is crazy though.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I have ones ranked lower than that, but I enjoyed the movie way more.
Man, what's your highest rating if you want to tell us now? I'm interested. I'm very
9.6.
Okay. I was waiting for like 9.2. Because 8.2 at a top 10 for the year is crazy.
Well, you should see my other. I'm pretty
Just
harsh
crazy.
when it comes to ranking things.
Well,
Yes,
I
yes.
know you are. Mr. Benjamin, number 10.
I got The Menu. I watched it like 2 days ago. I was waiting all year for it, and dude, that shit blew my mind. I did not know
I
where that
haven't-
movie was gonna go. Where'd Garrett go?
That man disappeared.
Man dipped.
Wait, I think I know what it was. I was talking about The Menu, so I didn't want to hear spoilers and left.
Oh,
Oh, I guess
Anyway.
because he hasn't finished it.
The Menu, I gave it a 9 too. I thought all the performances were great. It blew my mind. Matthew, are you gonna watch The Menu?
yes, I will.
Do you care if I spoil something?
I will deafen real quick. If I can.
When it was the mess plate when the dude comes out into
Oh,
the
yeah.
lobby and then cries and then shoots himself.
That
Um,
was
That movie completely changed. But yeah, that's number 10. It's a man. Okay. Text Garrett to come back.
I would text him.
You back?
Matthew.
I got booted.
What do you mean you got booted?
Literally, it just kicked me out.
Damn.
I thought you left so you didn't hear me talk about spoilers.
What did I
No,
get
it
out?
literally. I just said I haven't finished it, and then it just kicked me out.
Yeah.
It knew.
Anyway, 10 is The Menu. Garrett, number 9.
Okay, so number 9, very controversial pick. I know a lot of people are going to be upset, but I just think so. My number 9 is Wakanda Forever, which is I know extremely like low for a top 10 of the year list, especially since it was so widely loved. But I just think for me, I don't really watch superhero movies like a normal superhero fan does, I guess. I kind of watch it in the sense of does it fit as a standalone film? And as Wakanda Forever is a standalone film, I kind of felt like the villains were a little lackluster. I just felt like Namor, whatever his name is, he just was kind of Namor. He was kind of bland. Like I understand like why he was mad, but like at the same time, I was also like, well, just like you don't have to come up to the surface. But then I understood like the whole sea thing, and I don't know. I just didn't feel like the story was completely fleshed out. I told Miles this. We had a conversation. I said that if this movie didn't have the emotional connection to Chadwick Boseman, it would be pretty basic. But I think with that connection to him, it brings so much more life to the movie. That's why I put it at a 9 too. Great movie though, very enjoyable. I enjoyed it a lot.
Matthew.
My number 9. So I'm moving stuff around right now. My number 9 is going to be Thor: Love and Thunder at an 8.7. Because for me, I really enjoyed this storyline. And then most of the characters, like Gore was great. And then, am I wrong, Miles?
Because I like Jane.
Yeah, I like Jane as well. But like Gore was the main reason why I enjoyed that movie.
So much.
I heard that Gore wasn't even good. I heard he wasn't even.
Gore
that
was good. He was just in the movie for like 8 minutes.
There was so much wasted potential.
What the hell? Wasn't he like half the trailer though?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Those were all of
You
his
saw
8
half
minutes.
his performance in the trailer.
I know one thing. Once Love and Thunder dropped, I didn't hear a single thing about it. And then like a week later, I heard something about it, and then I have not heard anything since.
See, I liked it when it came out, but the more I've thought about it, I just like it less. I still don't think it's a bad movie.
Oh yeah, I don't think it's a bad movie. I do think that it just suffers from the studio being like, rush this movie out, put it out faster, and that's why some of the CG looks like ass.
Miles, what's your number 9?
My number 9 is Scream 5 and 8.1.
Damn.
I enjoyed
Jesus.
it. I enjoyed it more than Pearl, but obviously because Ben and I love the Scream movies. And
Wearing a Scream hat.
Most of us do.
with Scream 5, I wasn't anticipating much because the last one was kind of iffy on my list. But with
Bro,
what
you
we
don't
were
like
given,
Scream 4?
I don't mind it. It's the second best one. Third best one. Third best.
I was like,
Yeah, it's the third best.
But this movie was a long awaited, and I was surprised by a lot of it. The reveal of who the killers were was lackluster as hell in my eyes.
Pretty fucking shit.
Damn.
Also, I think I haven't even seen all the Scream movies, but I think that this probably had the worst reason why they wanted to be killers.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Well,
Scream 3.
From the movie,
Scream 3.
I've only seen 1, 4, and 5, so that's all I know.
So for context, Scream 3
3.
It's so dumb. I don't even remember the reason why he becomes Ghostface, but he hires Billy and Stu to spy on his mom, who is Cindy's mom, so their brother and sister. Who then ends up meeting some
Disney's brother
so
that was never talked about before, and he shows up and he's like, "I'm a movie producer, or I'm a movie director," and he makes a movie about the Scream killings, and then he's Ghostface.
It's so stupid.
That movie makes me so angry.
So it's like Halloween Resurrection, kind of.
Yes, 100%. But I do think this movie probably has, besides the original, I think has the best supporting cast out of everybody. Because, I mean, the second one's kind of hit or miss. Third one's definitely a miss. Fourth one brings some life into it.
Fourth one is fun.
It's fun, yeah, because we got.
I think the fourth one is the most fun. Yeah.
And Hayden Panettiere.
Yeah.
It was just great.
I'll wait for Garrett to get back for my number 9. Because I know this is not on his list.
All right, got a package. I'm back. Is it my turn?
Right. No, it's mine. My number 9 is Nope.
Okay.
But Garrett has random beef with one detail in that movie, but we've got into it several times.
Yes, it's not that
I loved Nope. I think it is the most suspenseful movie of the year.
Now that's a crazy statement.
I don't know about that, Garrett, but I love Jordan Peele. Dude, Barbarian is just gross. Okay.
Barbarian is suspenseful as hell, though.
Barbarian's just gross.
Nope isn't suspenseful, I don't think.
It's gross.
Your opinion,
Nope
Garrett.
is hella suspenseful. Dude, I was on the edge of my seat that entire time. I think it is one of the best looking movies of the year, too. And Jordan Peele, he is 3 for 3 for good movies. Even though Us isn't my favorite, but he is 3 for 3 for good movies.
Interesting.
For decent movies.
Get Out. Get Out is one of the best horror movies of the last 10 years. Okay.
Get Out is great.
Us is decent,
Us is
and
mediocre.
I haven't seen Nope, so I have no idea.
Nope is great.
The ending of Us is ass cheeks. The ending of Nope is ass cheeks. All of Nope is pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Dude, you don't understand the
entitled.
importance of a standing up shoe.
I don't understand the whole point of the movie. It doesn't make sense. I like the concept, but it. Sorry, it pisses me off thinking about it, man.
Understandable. I don't.
All right, what's your number 8, Garrett?
I do not like Jordan Peele as a director. If I'm being honest, I don't. I like Get Out. I do, and Us. I got halfway through the movie and turned it off. I watched the ending and I was so glad I turned it off. My number 8, I have The Batman at a 9.2.
Damn.
This was a way movie, beginning of the year release. I wasn't even excited going into it. Not for any particular reason. I just wasn't really hyped to watch it, but I enjoyed it a lot. I'm still a firm believer that the first 35 to 45 minutes of that movie is way too slow. I get it, it kind of needs to be slow for the rest of the movie, but I feel like they could have picked that pacing up just a little bit quicker. Robert Pattinson definitely has to be the second or number 1 best Batman, depending on your opinions. I have really no gripes with this movie.
Number 1.
What?
Without Christian Bale, he's number one.
Yeah. I have really no gripes with this movie. I honestly really enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. Just everything else on this movie, I just enjoyed a little bit more. Nothing really bad though.
Matthew, number 8.
My number 8 is Moon Knight at a 9.0.
What?
Yeah.
You know, it's a movie.
No, we said movies or TV shows.
Okay.
But I
thought
put
was,
it there.
I think
okay.
you misunderstood the way we phrased it.
But it's fine, I guess. It's fine.
But I really enjoyed the story and acting for this show.
Yeah.
Like
I think
Oscar Isaac killed it.
Oscar Isaac, I think,
For the-
gave the best performance in the MCU besides Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr.
Except for the show, except for the fact the show doesn't get good till episode 3.
Lies.
That
You
I
just
agree
sleep-
with Garrett. I don't think it's
Yeah, the show doesn't.
I don't think it's bad. I was just bored the first 2 episodes.
I think
The
about it like
first 2
this.
episodes or whatever.
Is the first 2 episodes stand alone a little bit? If you don't take away the Moon Knight aspect of it, or if you take away the Moon Knight aspect of it, it's very decent first 2 episodes. It's just so boring in comparison to the rest of the show.
But Miles, you can't take away the Moon Knight aspect of the Moon Knight show because it's a Moon Knight show.
I'm saying the first 2 episodes because you don't see Moon Knight at all pretty much until the ending of the
Yeah.
second episode. If you take away that aspect of it, it's just a guy with DID, and it's shot pretty decently.
The only my only real gripe with the show is episode 1, the log scene. The CGI.
Oh.
Yeah. And he's going up the mountain and the log falls.
Oh, I kind of just forgot about that show entirely.
Well, I haven't watched
After
it
it was
since it came
finished,
out,
I was
so-
kind of happy. Yeah, after we finished it, I was like, yeah, I'm glad this is over.
I know that was Ben's most anticipated show of the MCU, and so I'm like,
I wasn't entirely disappointed.
I didn't
feel like
know anything about
didn't-
him, so I have no idea. But like, it was, I don't know.
I had a
The
good
ending
time.
was cool.
I just
I
really
enjoyed
felt like, I don't know, I felt like everyone except for Ethan Hawke and Oscar Isaac was just, I didn't believe their characters were like real
You mean
people.
Layla, bro?
Yeah, I didn't fuck with her character at all. I thought she was pretty basic. I was like, this bitch is weird.
She literally
And then after,
was like no point in the show at
exactly,
that
and
point.
then after homie told her like I have DID, like this is gonna continue to happen, she was still tripping, and I was like, okay, like I get it. Like in the world of movies and TV, you get to create how they interact, so it is how it is. But on a writing aspect, if I was reading that, I'd be like, why? Like she should understand what DID is. And even after he explains that she was still tripping, I was like, this is pointless. This is literally just filling up time on the screen.
Miles, number 8.
I always pronounce his fucking title wrong, so it's Irish. That's all I gotta say. It's Banshees of
For the
Inisherin.
Bansh-
I don't fucking
Yeah.
know how to pronounce it,
Banshees of
but I gave it an
Inisherin.
8.6. I lowered my ranking of it the first time, like the second.
You lowered it significantly.
Yeah, because I gave it like a
What was it, like a
9.4, 9.3, 9.4, and I just let it sit. I let it sit on it for a little bit, and the more I thought about it, it's just a long draw of a movie that like is funny at certain points and like suspenseful at certain points. Do I believe that Colin Farrell should be nominated? 100%, but it's just not like as good as I was making out to be like the best movie of the year. It's still a great movie. That's why I gave it an 8.6. There's good
Not bad.
aspects to it, but it's just not what I would watch again.
Okay, it's Banshees of Inisherin.
Yeah, dude, it's Irish. I
Sheeran.
don't know how to pronounce that shit.
I was watching someone react to this, or like not react, but review the movie, and they were kind of saying the same things. Like, it's very funny, but it feels very slow paced, and the whole time you're just like, you're just kind of sitting there. I don't know. I didn't really feel like I needed to watch that one this year. I wasn't really I didn't even hear about it. I didn't hear anything about it until we talked about it the last podcast.
A couple weeks ago, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. You don't have anything to say about that, Ben? He said an 8.6. You loved that movie.
I do. Yeah. His criticisms are basically the entire movie.
Well, no, it's only bits and pieces. Like certain bits of comedy don't work for me, and certain bits of the movie where it's slow don't work. I still like the movie. It's just 98% of the time, I'm not laughing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good
It's
movie. Other
not
than
a
that,
comedy.
Dude, like just the
You're not
character,
supposed to be laughing
just the character of
24/7.
Dominic. Well, no, I'm saying when the characters who are supposed to be funny and are laughing, it's not funny half the time because of how they're portraying that character. I just feel cringe when Dominic was talking about certain things about his dad and stuff. I'm like, I don't.
Dude.
Why?
Dominic is not supposed to be funny.
That's the point. That's why I was cringing. He's
Dominic
making
is
us trying
supposed to be
laugh,
sad and the village idiot.
and that's why he's funny. I've heard people on my side of TikTok being like, he's funny, like he was not the best part of the movie, but he helped laugh, like me laughed at the movie. I'm like, but it's not. He was just making weird comments about his dad's penis.
Oh,
Whoa.
Watch the movie
Okay.
and you'll understand.
I think I'm good now. I think that's
All
all
right.
I needed to hear.
Okay, Garrett. What's your 8? This is a very negative podcast.
We just did 8, brother. You mean my 7?
Yeah.
Wait, did Ben
So
go
I
in?
had- Yeah. What was your Ben?
No, I didn't
Your
do
8?
it.
Did you not?
Oh. My
Yeah.
8 was Black Panther. Black Panther. Sorry for the voice
Yeah.
crack.
Wakanda forever.
I gotta disagree with Garrett. I think this movie does not only exist with like Chadwick Boseman's presence, or because of what happened with him. I think it sits on the character of T'Challa, and like we have that personal connection to Chadwick Boseman, but you also have that personal connection to T'Challa. So it's like two separate beings, but you feel both emotions with it. I think even if Chadwick Boseman didn't tragically pass, I think the movie would have still hit the same if just his character had passed.
Let me ask you this. When you heard about the movie coming out, were you more excited about the movie or more excited about what they were going to do for Chadwick?
I was more curious on just how they were going to tell the story because they lost such a big part of it. Not because he had passed, but just what can they do without their main character?
Well, see, because everyone that I've talked to, like outside of us, like they've really just said like, oh, I wanted to see more of Chadwick in the movie, or like I really liked the beginning and I really liked the end. And I'm like, okay, well, how'd you like the movie though? And that's where I was kind of like getting the consensus of like this movie it's really lays on like a playing field of the attention is towards Shuri, but the entire time she's kind of in a shadow of T'Challa. Even though like yes, like this movie it has aspects where it's like okay, like I actually like Shuri's character in this movie, even though she was kind of a little bitch at some points. I was with her for 96 to 97% of this film. But the entire time I kind of felt myself being like, how is this going to progress the story? Like, how is this? And then they kind of tied it back to T'Challa in the kind of the middle of the movie. And then at the end of the movie, then you're just like, okay, so this movie was just a whole big waste of my fucking time. Not really. But that's how I felt when I watched the post-credit scene. I was happy about it in the moment, but rethinking about it, like the movie was supposed to be about Shuri, and towards the end of the very last part of the movie, it basically makes you feel like this whole movie was, like I said, a shadow of T'Challa, just because you see young T'Challa, and at that point, it feels like there's like a big tonal shift over to what was his name? What's his real name? Not T'Challa. Yeah, but what's his like other name? Yeah,
his
what's
Haitian name?
Yeah.
I forgot what his Haitian name is.
I called him Mark one day, and I was like, that's definitely not his name. It's definitely not Mark.
But I gave the movie a 9.3. I thought it was a perfect follow up for Black Panther, considering the circumstances. And I love Shuri's character, and Namora was a great villain.
I also like
Debatable.
Williams. I like Ironheart in this movie.
Yes, I do too.
Oh, bro, that
Don't
character
understand
was
it.
sick, man.
Didn't like her suit.
She was sick.
I like.
Really?
I like.
See, I liked her suit.
I did too. I enjoyed her shoot a lot,
I like
actually.
the first one more because it didn't feel like. It felt more like what Tony made in the first Iron Man movie, like with the box of scraps. And so that's what kind of cool. But then
Box of scraps.
it looks like she took apart a Lego bin and like glued it on at some points because it just looked so plasticky. And so I'm like, it looks weird.
I get that.
I hope her like.
I also liked what they did. I liked Simon Pegg in this movie a lot. I liked him. Well, I liked him just because he was very loyal the whole time.
Simon Pegg's not in the movie.
Martin Freeman.
Is that not his real name? Is that his real name? Oh my god! I'm so sorry. They look very
It said
similar.
Simon Pegg, and I was like, dude, how'd you mess up the one white character in the movie?
Let's just say they look very similar to me, and I'm not good with my actors. I'm sorry, but yes, Martin Freeman. I liked him a lot in this movie just because he was very loyal. Like even in the moment where he finds the beads,
if I remember.
huh?
Is he the not CSI?
Yeah. It's where he finds the beads and he could give them away, and he's like, "Nah, I'm gonna keep these to myself." At that point, I was like, "Okay, he's with us. He's one of the brothers now."
Valentina's like,
He's
I trapped those there. So then they'd be sending a signal out or whatever. Those have been trapped there since before you even got here. I'm like, well, shit.
Yeah.
Pointless.
Yeah. So sad. Number 7.
Yeah.
So for my number 7, I had Bullet Train, another 9-2 for me. So let's just say this is probably my top 3 most. I enjoyed this movie the most this year in my top 3. But the reason why I put it 7 is because it's very forgettable. Like I went and watched it in the theater in the Arc, and I remember the beginning of the movie very well. I remember the ending very well in that, and I remember like some other parts. I don't remember the meat of the movie. Like I kind of feels like the whole time it's like a dog chasing its tail, if you get what I mean.
Wait,
like-
what movie?
Bullet Train.
Oh, I was like, I heard
Yeah.
it and then it just went out my head.
Oh no, like it felt like just a dog chasing its tail the whole time because they would get close to the briefcase, it would get lost. They'd have to stop here. Here's a new character. Oh, this character just died. Oh, this character just died. This character's not dead. Oh, let's go find the briefcase again. And it worked well on the screen because obviously they're like in the train setting, it's very compact. So it made sense in the sense of like the setting. But I just kind of like after I thought about it, after a couple days after watching it, I was just like the whole like dog chasing its tail thing, doing the same thing repetitively for an hour long. I was like, okay. But when we got to the end where Home Dude's dad got on the train, that's when I was like, okay, yeah, this movie was really good. That's why I give it a 9-2 at my 7 spot.
Matthew.
My number 7 was Scream 5 at a 9-1. The reason I like this movie was the acting and then the homages to the originals. Like
Homages.
The entire
Homages,
last
yeah.
act.
Yeah.
Well,
I
that's the point of Scream. Scream is very self-aware within each movie. I mean, the whole basis of Scream is to be self-aware of the entire genre.
I mean, yeah, like the whole thing is just like a play on serial killers.
Yeah.
Well, it's a play on
Like
slasher
horror.
films.
It's basically like
'Cause it's
if
Wes
people
Craven.
like us who like horror movies were in that scenario that the people that they watch on the screen are. That's the entire
Yeah.
point of the
Miles
first movie.
Miles looks like he's hiding from Ghostface in that closet right now.
Dude, I'm Logan Lerman from Bullet Train.
Where's the blood? Wait, did we all see Bullet Train?
I watched
I
Bullet.
haven't finished it.
Okay.
Yeah. Me and Miles watched it together and then we're like, it's bedtime.
Damn.
All right, Miles.
Number 7, right?
Yes, sir.
Similar to what Matthew. Oh, who was talking about Scream 5? Matthew, right?
Me.
Yeah.
Similar to what Matthew said about Scream 5, I have X at an 8.9. Same thing with what he said. It just pays homage to a lot of like the original horror movies coming out around the 60s and 70s. especially Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And just the movie's weird, man. It's it's fun but weird. I had a way more fun time watching it than Pearl, but some discrepancies there. Didn't believe a lot of the characters were real people. Editing was a little bit weird in some places, especially near the end. But overall, good movie, I would say. Kills were good too. Matthew.
Number 7, I have The Fablemans.
Damn.
I think this movie solidified my opinion of Spielberg being the greatest director of all time. Even if he's not my favorite, I think he is the best director of all time and most influential. But movies for people that love movies, and I enjoyed it all the way through.
Where's that at?
7.
Yeah, but where can I watch it? Because I still am going.
I rented it for like
Okay.
$20.
Jeez.
So at my 6th spot, I have Top Gun Maverick. So originally this movie was way higher, but then I eventually started knocking some other movies off my list, and I knew this movie couldn't sit anywhere further than 6, just purely story wise, because it's an almost shot for shot remake for the first like 5 to 10 minutes. And then like, you're like, okay, is this going to be like around like the same basis of the story? And then it's just not at all. Tom Cruise, even though I don't think he's that phenomenal of an actor, killed this role. I think his reoccurring, like him coming back as Maverick and then kind of jumping into the new generation with the Rooster, Phoenix, what was his name? Hangman. Like,
Bob.
It was very well done, very well written. It definitely felt like a passing of the torch movie. I highly doubt we get a Top Gun 3, but if we do, I expect everyone to come back. Yeah, I really have no gripes with this movie. I loved it from beginning to end. I guess if I had to say something like nitpicky about the movie, it felt a little quick. Like it felt like they were getting everything done really fast, especially the obstacle course scene. Like it took them like 4 or 5 times. Four or five times. It takes a while. It does not take as long as you think it would. For 0 G's, like realistically, it should not take them like as short of time as it
took
did.
Like 20 times, Garrett.
No.
But still, like, yeah, it did not. It was not.
We see them do it like 2 or 3 times, and then they say that they've done it a couple more times after that. And
yeah, because they only have like 2 days to solve the mission, so it's not like they're going out there consistently. Especially since they're in 0 G's, your body can only handle so much 0 G for such a period of time. So I just felt like that one little spot was kind of done a little fast, but I understand why, because they kind of messed themselves up with the time frame they had for the mission. But yeah, 9-3.
Matthew.
My number 6 was Nope at a 9.2.
Funk.
There's the Nope respect.
I really enjoyed the storyline of the movie, like what happened to their dad and like why they were trying to hunt it down, and then the acting from, I can't remember his name.
Daniel Kaluuya?
Yeah, and then
Keke
Palmer, yeah. I could think of her name. I don't know why I couldn't think of the other dude.
I forgot his name.
Yeah. That's my number 6.
Interesting.
You give it a 9.2.
Like my only gripe was like killing off the director dude and
Oh, okay. Can I fucking say something about that real quick? That is the most bullshit. That is the most bullshit part of that whole fucking.
You're wrong.
What do you mean?
You don't
He's got
understand.
the impossible shot.
He didn't though. We will
Yes,
never
he
see
did.
it.
Exactly. It's the impossible shot.
He also didn't get it because when he records, gets stuck up, he lets go. So
No, he doesn't.
didn't shoot.
He was still recording.
He didn't shoot anything. And I also, if you're
Did you
getting
not see him going like this the whole time?
Also, if you're getting sucked up, he's not reeling in perfectly. You're getting sucked up. Your body isn't perfectly still. So that was
he still got the
bullshit.
shot.
Bullshit.
And the shot's not for anyone else besides him.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to.
I don't give a fuck, bro. It's the most selfish bastard in that whole shit.
There's any movie that you don't like that makes me so angry, it's Nope. Because I have not heard a viable reason.
What do you mean? The ending makes no fucking sense.
The
The whole point of the movie is don't look up at the bad thing or you will get killed, which we saw. Everyone at the Star Lasso experience looked up and they died. OJ looks up and he doesn't die.
He's special.
It was following him.
Yeah.
But it didn't kill him. How? If he looked up at it to literally let his sister run away, and yet it didn't kill him.
Ah, Garrett. We've talked about this before.
And Miles,
No,
are you
hold
on
up.
my side here?
Hold up. I have not heard Ben and Matthew are saying there's no viable reason why Garrett doesn't like this movie, but you guys have not provided why the ending makes sense.
It's because we've
It
argued it
doesn't.
We
before.
have.
No, you haven't. I haven't heard anything in
Yes,
this
you have.
scenario where you guys are saying
I don't understand what doesn't make sense.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen the movie, so I literally
The
have
whole-
no idea.
The whole
I've
point
seen
is
the movie
this,
3 times.
the whole is this alien in a cloud.
Yes.
He says if you look at this thing, it's gonna follow you and it's gonna kill you.
Yes.
We see that at Star Lasso when the horse thing goes wrong and it comes in and it kills everyone, all because they looked up, started taking pictures. At the end, the OJ sister is about to die, and he gets on the horse and looks up at this thing, and it opens its mouth and it's going straight towards OJ. You see it, and
what
I'm
were
like
the
in the
people
theater.
at Star Lasso doing? Sitting still.
They were
Sitting there.
okay, but still, it shouldn't matter though. Because it's still, and then even when Keke Palmer was running away, it was following her, trying to kill her.
Because she was looking at it, Garrett.
Exactly.
No one else in that movie that
But it was
died.
running.
Everyone that died
Nobody
in that
else
movie was
ran.
still.
Standing still.
So then explain this to me. Why do you have to be standing still? Why does it have that barrier? Why does it only kill you when you're standing still? Why can't it kill you when you're
That's not it. It's
it can.
harder.
They just are outrunning it.
It's the same way in the wild. If a lion is fighting a gazelle, if the gazelle is standing still, it's easy. If the gazelle is running, completely
It's hard.
different story.
But it's also an alien.
It's a lot.
It's an alien spaceship.
It's not a spaceship.
Not a spaceship, Garrett.
It's not a
Okay,
spaceship.
it's an alien. It's
That
an
was the
alien
whole
monster.
twist. It wasn't a spaceship.
It's an
It's an alien monster in the shape of a spaceship.
Yeah, but it's not a spaceship.
Okay, it's not a spaceship. But I don't understand why an alien that is already crazy fast in the movie. We've seen it fly by the screen. We've seen it. We've heard it without seeing it in the movie. But at the end, when he's on horseback, he can't kill it. And the horse is injured, by the way.
It was not.
But nobody mentions the monkey.
I don't know, man. I will never understand that movie. It pisses me off to my heart, to my core.
Thank God I had no intention of watching the movie.
I hope Jordan Peele sees this shit.
I retweeted to it.
I hope he does.
Because then he's gonna have a gripe with you, Garrett.
That's fucking fine with me, man. He can hate me until he makes a good fucking movie again.
Whoa.
Okay.
Dude, he
Relax
hasn't made
there,
a bad movie.
I've
He just
just
made 2 decent one, or a decent one, an all right one, and then a great one.
I've just come to the conclusion that this is like Brandon, and we're not going to change Garrett's mind, and so I'm just going to leave it alone.
Never. Never.
I will
never,
change
never.
his mind.
I mean, then we
All
got
right,
this.
Miles. What's your 6?
Oh my. My number 6 is The Menu at a 9.2. Finally in the 9s, but
Finally.
this movie was bonkers. Basically, whatever Ben said earlier is what I agree with, because we basically said the same thing in the group chat. It's very, very interesting. I mean, I initially thought when looking at the poster, I thought, what's his name? Nicholas Holt. Is that who it is? The guy who plays
Yeah.
Beast?
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be like the main dude. Nope. what I saw, I'm like, once they started speaking in the beginning, I'm like, yeah, this dude's gonna be a dickhead throughout this entire movie and pretentious as fuck.
Oh my god, I fucking hate him, bro.
Dude, he started
I still
once they
need
got
to
to the
watch it.
restaurant and they interrupted the chef. I'm like, I felt like secondhand embarrassment from Margot. I'm like, oh, I don't want.
And then he was just an asshole.
Supposed to hate everyone in that movie except Margot.
I mean,
I liked the one
About
wife.
head chef.
Oh, the old lady.
Yeah, the one that was married to Homeboy, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I liked her. She wasn't bad. She was scared the whole time.
dude, I would be too. In that scenario, I would be probably shitting my pants. I would fucking
Dude,
leave.
I'd probably they'd have to kill me because I'm running. I'm running as fast as I can.
Yeah, dude, that would be the most terrifying experience of my life.
Yeah. All right, Ben, you're 6.
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
That's stupid low. I thought you were gonna have it way higher.
No, because I
I thought he
watched
was
it
gonna
and
have it
like
in the top
I've
five.
barely talked about it since I watched it, but I have it at a 9.4. Somehow they've made a very small and wholesome story with the plot device of it being a multiverse, but it felt like a very personal story, like you were just watching this family, which I was probably the most impressive part of it. Because usually
Very
like
much
multiverse
so.
stories are like blockbusters, but
Multiverse of Madness.
I lost
Goodness.
interest in wanting to watch it after like the TikTok hype, but after it's kind of died down, I might check it out. So entering
It's very
the top. Oh, we were gonna say.
it's a very good movie because I have it on my list too. I'll talk about it more when I get to my turn. But
Mhm.
if you're gonna check it out, I would actually do it. I don't know if you'll like it or not, but I think you will because just the family aspect, like that's what the main concern, like that's what the main thing of the movie is. It's not even the multiverse stuff.
Mhm.
That's just like the base layer of it. That's what we see, but like the entire movie is family based, and that's what's awesome about it.
Right. So to kick off the top 5, with a 9.3, I have On the Count of 3. So this movie blew my mind. It was on my list for way too long. I should have watched it way earlier in the year, but I'm actually glad I did it. I'm glad I didn't because it's kind of more fresh on my mind the more I think about it. But yeah, I've been thinking about this movie not constantly, but every time I see something about it, I have to think about it. It's so heartbreaking. It really is heartbreaking. It's one of the saddest movies I've seen in a very long time. Not for any particular reason other than the fact of this man basically fucked over his best friend. Then his best friend killed himself, and this man has to live with that guilt along with a whole lot of other bullshit.
Yeah.
I could talk about this movie for a whole lot longer than this podcast, but which there's an entire podcast which we already talked about it more. So yeah, 9.3.
Matthew.
Matthew.
So my number 5 is also a 9.3, but mine is fresh. When we first watched this, like I didn't know what it was about, and then Ben told us, and I rewatched it recently. Oh, it's so visually pleasing, and then the story is just such a like mind fuck.
Matthew really connects with Sebastian Stan's character.
Yes.
I'm like Matthew. I think you should like rephrase what you're saying. Sympathy
What
from the
do you
villain.
mean?
I am him.
I'm actually not surprised that Fresh is on your list, if I'm being honest.
Bro,
I do
it's
think
such
it was a really good
movie.
movie. I just didn't like the last like 5 minutes of it. But yeah, I remember when we watched it and I was like, it's a cannibal movie. And it's
know.
like,
Me and
Me
Garrett
and
were like,
Miles-
what?
What the fuck?
we were like, did you guys not see the cover of the movie?
No.
Also, like, even when I look at the cover now, it's not like super prominent that it's like
Dude.
a hand.
It's a meat packaged hand.
Yeah, I know, but like when you first looked at it, like I didn't look at it. When I just took a glimpse, I was like, huh. I just saw
don't
the
think
words
that's
fresh.
what it was on Hulu.
Hulu, I think it's just Daisy.
Yeah, no,
Daisy
it's
Edgar Jones.
it's
and
Daisy
Sebastian
Edgar Jones and
Stan,
Sebastian
and
Stan.
has Fresh over it.
Yeah. Mr. Miltonius.
Kilometers.
My number 5 is On the Count of 3 at a 9.4 out of 10. When I watched this movie, I was invested almost the entire time. Like the beginning, I'm like, okay, what is this movie? And then after the first initial title sequence, I was like, holy shit, I'm invested in this movie the entire time. And
it takes
For
off
what
so
movie?
fast.
it takes off so fast.
For what movie?
On the count of three. I'm
Oh.
like, I had no idea this was even a movie. I don't watch Hulu that much, and so when Garrett and Ben were like, "You should watch this movie," I'm like, okay. I'm like, I didn't know anything about it, so I just like, fuck it, I'll put it on. This movie is a trip. I'll say that.
Definitely slept on. Very, very,
Yes.
very slept on.
Because isn't it like the main dude, not the white guy, but the other guy, he directed the movie
Jared
as well?
Carmichael.
Yeah, it
He
was his
did,
directorial debut too.
That's
Mhm.
bonkers, dude. That
I knew he was going to say
major
that.
credit, major credit.
Bonkers.
Kind of like he made a show a couple years ago called The Carmichael Show, which he didn't like direct, but he had a lot of
Right.
creative freedom to like pick the shots and stuff. So
But
he already
being
kind
like
of
the movie, like being the director of the
Oh,
movie,
yeah.
and this is your first ever movie being made, that's an achievement. Especially how good
it's
it is.
insane. It's insane. I honestly, it's nothing crazy directing wise. It's pretty basic direction, but I think his shot composition is what makes it so good.
Mm-hmm.
It's because he knew what to do with the shots to make it more intense, to make it seem like it was. He used a lot of wide shots and a lot of close-ups. So the whole that last scene,
Holy shit,
not the last
dude.
scene, but the scene in the ditch.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Very
part.
good shot composition, man.
Great
Mr.
movie,
Benjamin
though.
Button.
Number 5, I got All Quiet on the Western Front for a 9.5. That's my only international film this year. But I think it's the best movie Netflix put out this year by far. Second best score of the year, and I'd say second best looking movie this year. It made war seem so real and heartbreaking. I don't think I've ever seen a war movie told from the perspective of like it was Germans during World War One. I think every single war movie I've seen has always been Americans. But like the way it shows you how war affects just everyone on every single side, it was heartbreaking.
All right. For 4, I have The Black Phone at 9.3. So I've actually seen this movie 5 times.
I forgot to put that in my letterbox.
So, and it's weird because every time I've watched this movie, it's been an unironic, except for the first time I watched it. One, obviously by myself, and then I watched it with a girl. I watched it because I had to watch it in a thing, like for my job. And then the other 2 times were like I was watching it with people, but I wasn't watching it. But yeah, 9.3. I think this movie it blew my mind because I've seen a lot of psychological thrillers where people get kidnapped, but I've never seen it like done like this where it was so like fast. Like usually they're either already kidnapped or the person who's like the main character is solving the kidnapping. It's not like
This movie,
a bunch of
took 30 minutes
No, it didn't.
to get to the kidnapping. Yeah,
He gets kidnapped in the first 15 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, he
No
does.
shot.
Yeah. Which is crazy to me because like it's like this van is everywhere. The whole movie. It's like everywhere and you see it and they know what they're expecting. And yet this guy kidnapped his kids in the middle of the open, which I think that was resonating with me more because especially where like Miles and Matthew know, like a lot of people, like Cheyenne, more girls and boys get kidnapped quite frequently and randomly too in the middle of in broad day. So it just kind of shocked me, and I was like, oh, they went this route. And then as the movie progresses, it's that I put it forward just because the suspense it just really threw me off, but it was kind of just it was just good. I just enjoyed it a lot. Maybe just because I've seen it so many times and I haven't not enjoyed it once. 9.4 though. That's what I put it.
It's I watched it for the first time when Garrett hosted it as a watch party type of deal. And it's an interesting movie, not to say the least. because Ethan Hawke's performance as what's his name in the movie?
The grabber.
The grabber. He is
menacing,
creepy as shit.
Dude, the scene where he's sitting in that chair with the belt and the mask
top of the
on.
stairs, shirtless. Yeah, that's weird.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's
scary.
It's weird. It's creepy. It's scary, and like what makes it more scary is the fact that he goes out and he's just buying a bunch of equipment, and no one thinks anything of it. And then he goes home, and he's just waiting for this kid to come upstairs so he can spank him. And you're just like, oh. Watching this from a perspective of like just a normal person, it was fucking me up.
It's also set in like the 1960s to 70s, and so nobody would have thought anything of it if this guy buying shit from the store.
I thought it was set in like the 70s, 80s.
I don't know. I remember seeing like the 1960s or 70s on there because just the way it looks, it visually.
It also has
older.
I also know it has a heavy influence from the John Wayne Gacy cases. John Wayne Gacy, just because of the house with the burying people under like his house, which is still fucked up. All right, moving on. Matt.
Oh yeah, the 70s for number 4, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So my number 4 is another TV show.
Wait,
Love, Death, and Robots, season 3. Right? Are we on number 4?
Yeah.
Are we on number 4? No, I swear we're on 3 because I already did my 4, which is
we're on 4.
Yeah, because we just.
Oh yeah, you're right. Never mind.
Yeah. So my number 4 is Love, Death, and Robots season 3. The storylines for each episode, except like the minis dead. It was like the mini something dead, but it's like it's a ripoff of Dawn of the Dead.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
that was the one you didn't like.
It's the only one that didn't really have a storyline. It was just like many things running around killing other many things.
I like that one.
But like, and then also the final episode was weird for me.
Well, you have to be more specific on your final episode because you get different orders.
The water one?
Yeah.
Not the like Indian one.
In the water?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that one was also weird.
What do you think of it visually,
the rest of them,
Matthew?
Oh, it was amazing. All of them were amazing visually.
The Cthulhu one? That one was crazy.
The what one?
The Cthulhu one?
Cthulhu, yes. Like, I watched the whole 3rd season in a night, and I was like, this is amazing.
I want to rewatch it.
We have to rewatch it again together, Ben.
Yeah.
I was actually I was watching the whole thing with Isaiah the other day.
Yeah.
That show was great.
It's insane.
So, but wait, before you go, Miles, I messed up. So Barbarian is actually my number 10, not an honorable mention.
Did you only have 9 on your list?
No, I actually had 12, and I read the numbers wrong, and so the Black Phone's my number 3, so just skip me on the next one.
Gotcha. Okay.
So Miles, good. Yeah.
My number 4 is Everything Everywhere All at Once. At a 9 out of 10. It's a very good movie, especially with the family dynamic, because even though I personally haven't been through what the daughter went through in that movie with her parents, I've known people who like been through that, and I've seen that in other people's households. And so it's very interesting to see it be put on screen in that way that she, like the Daniels did. And also with the multiverse, I just love weird science shit like that, like time travel and the multiverse stuff.
Yeah.
And just like, yeah, it was very visually cool. And Michelle Yeoh was just overall an amazing actress in this movie. And
he's always great.
Also, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's Data in Short Round.
Yeah. I know how to do his name.
It's Data from the Goonies, and he's Short Round from Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's in it. I remember that.
And when I heard that he was coming back to act, I'm like, there's no way. And I'm like,
it's Ke
yeah.
Ke Huy Quan? No.
Ke Quan Ho?
Oh, the little
Asian guy.
Dude from 3. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, like I didn't know
Princess
until I looked it up. I'm like, why does this guy look so familiar? And I'm like, he's Data from the Goonies. And I'm like, how long has he been acting for? He stopped acting like the 90s.
Yeah.
And now he's like on a huge renaissance now, like Brendan Fraser, and I'm like, that makes me happy.
Yeah, he's gonna be in Loki season 2.
That's great.
That's dope.
All right. My number 4 goes to Banshees with a 9.3. I don't understand Miles's gripes, but I think the movie is great. I think it's hilarious. The story, like, it shouldn't work. Of two friends who just decide, or one was like, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. And if you talk to me, I'm going to cut my fingers off. Shouldn't work, but it does. And I loved it all. And I think Colin Farrell, I think that is the best performance of 2022.
Hot take.
Yeah.
Very
All
hot.
right, man.
I don't
You
think
can
it's
go for your 3. 'Cause I already did my 3. I
My
already did
number
my 3.
3 is another show, Obi-Wan. I don't understand your guys' gripe with this show.
It's so boring.
From episode 1, I was on it, bro. That it was the story, the fights, and the emotion. Like in episode 3, when it's Obi and Anakin training,
Yeah.
I almost cried.
But
I can
also,
admit the emotion is there.
I
isn't
fell asleep 50 minutes into
And-
the first episode.
And
Isn't
then
Obi-Wan one
also
of your
the
favorite
final
characters, Matt?
fight. No, that's Ben.
interesting?
But the show was amazing. The Inquisitor, Reva was a crazy villain.
Yeah. I think Obi-Wan is a perfect show for prequels fans.
Yes, I loved it.
I
Miles?
mean, I watched the first 3 episodes of Obi-Wan, and I didn't even finish the 3rd episode.
Wow,
I finished the show.
Damn.
it's a good show, Ben.
It's not bad.
I get.
Milk.
Oh my bad. I didn't say my rating. I give it a 9.4.
Miles? Number 3?
My number 3 is The Fablemans, because Ben was correct about me it being my top
I
3.
knew it.
I changed it around. It was originally my number, I want to say 5 or 6.
5.
But I had changed it because I finished watching it earlier, and the main character is I at one point or another I thought of at least all 4 of us at one point in that movie, and I'm
Movies
like,
for filmmakers.
yeah, it definitely is. And the way there's that one point in the movie he's talking about a camera, and he's like, your dad has insert whatever camera here, and he's just so excited to talk about it. That I know all of us have felt like that before, and it just reminded me. I'm like, damn, this character is literally us. This is great, and overall, it looks really cool. Paul Dano,
Gilbert, man. He
Paul
had a
Dano
year.
is great. But
No,
yeah,
Paul Dano had a
it's
crazy
it's a
year.
good ass movie. Ben,
All
what's your number
right.
3?
My number 3 is On the Count of 3, sitting at a 9.6.
Damn.
Down at 3. My number 3.
I think the movie is paced perfectly. I think the 2 main actors are heartbreaking in that movie. They made you hate Henry Winkler. And by the end of the movie, I was almost in tears.
I think
I have no
I think
problems
the
with the movie.
I think that thing about the movie is that makes it even better is they're not movie stars. Like if Brad Pitt or Tobey Maguire or Leo played those roles, I
Just
wouldn't
felt
have
like
the
2 guys.
connection. Literally just 2 chill dudes. So my number 2, I have The Northman at a 9.4. So when I watched this for the first time, it blew my mind because I'm not a big guy who like I like The King and I put you guys onto that movie, but I never thought that I was like really into like Renaissance and wars and Vikings, you know, that like that medieval kind of area until I watched this movie. And cinematography wise, I think this is the best second best looking movie of the year behind Avatar. I love this shit from the beginning to the end. Robert Edgards. What's the main guy's name? Something Skarsgård.
Skarsgård.
It's
Yeah, Alexander Skarsgård.
Alexander. Man, he killed this. I don't know what to say. Like I had nothing but good
Dude,
things about this movie.
He was
Anya
always
Taylor-Joy.
walking like
Bro, the scene where he axed this dude off a horse. I was yelling in my seat. I was like, oh.
it was
And I
brutal.
watched this at home. It's so good. I also think I really really like enjoyed how they didn't leave a single thing out of like how it is back then. Mothers do be fucking sons. Sons do be fucking mothers. It is what it is, and they didn't leave it out, man. And I thought because I like in The King they left some shit out like that because content warnings and shit. But Robert Edgers and whoever wrote this movie, they were like, we're going all in on this shit, and it only made the movie better. 9-4, man. That's all I can say. It's just great.
I watched it with like all my friends, and my friend Kobe's like, Ben, what is this movie? And I was like, have you ever seen The Lion King? Like,
Have you seen
I'm like,
Hamlet?
okay, it's The Lion King with the Vikings. He's like, all right, got it.
It's
sat back
Hamlet.
down.
It's just
Hamlet.
rounds back to Hamlet.
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 All right.
Matthew.
Yeah, Matthew.
My number 2 is Avatar: Way of the Water at a 9.5. The story and the visuals for this, like, I almost cried at the end of the
been
movie.
good. You missed the meeting last night because you were watching Avatar.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god! Like, Spider was every character was great.
I think I feel the opposite way.
Facts.
I feel like Spider was a bitch.
Which is crazy.
Dude, honest to God, Spider didn't need to be in that movie. He's only in that movie to let his dad get away.
Miles, what is he supposed to do against 9-foot tall aliens?
That's my point. What the fuck is his character for?
Also, he was left there, so he had no way off of Pandora.
Yeah,
he had to
he couldn't
he
go
had to
into a
accustom to the
chamber.
culture. And the thing is not only did he accustom to the culture, but he fucking hates everyone of the Sky people, even though his own father, even though he's. Oh, I can't spoil it unless Ben wants to watch it.
I'm never watching it.
Okay, which is crazy. When he sacrifices his dad and he's like, "Come with me," he's still like, "Nah, fuck you," because he hates them. But he also, I love Spider because he also has the emotional ability to be like, I understand what he's going through and what he's been through. I'm gonna let him go.
No,
I
watched
love
the
that
movie, and
motherfucker.
throughout the entire
man.
movie, I was watching with my brother, and me and him kept going back and forth in the movie theater, being like, "Why is this guy here?
We can talk
What
about
is this point? There's no point."
We can talk about it more. It's my number one. We can talk about it more in a little bit. It's my number one. So, all right, Miles, what was your 2?
My number 2 is Elvis at a 9.4. Honestly, before watching the movie, I knew Elvis was a person, and I listened to some of his music, but I'm like, I was never like the biggest
You
fan.
didn't know much about him, yeah.
But watching the movie, I'm like, holy shit, this is a good movie. The guy who made it made The Great Gatsby, so I'm like, there's some type of hype here, I suppose. But when I watched it, I watched a trailer for it, and I didn't know anything else going in. And so learning all this information about Elvis, I'm like, holy shit, this guy really had a fucked up life, but still managed to give out great music and have millions of people be happy, even though he was abused pretty much.
Listen, when I tell you that after this man watched this movie, he bought a record player. He then bought a Elvis vinyl and listened to it every day.
The greatest
And I
hits
live-
of Elvis too.
And I live right next to this, or I used to.
Mm.
Every day. It was
great.
Suspicious Minds.
No, and if I can dream,
Suspicious Minds.
if I
But
can
no,
dream,
you were playing Suspicious Minds at the max volume. And at night I was
I
hearing
guess
that shit.
I would never play it at nighttime. I would never play it at night.
Really? Well, I was always just chilling in my room and I could hear that shit. I knew he was going to be in top 3 though. I knew it.
Yeah, I mean that's
All right, Benjamin.
way.
Top
See, what's
2.
crazy is like Elvis isn't even like my top 20 of the year.
I think it. Yeah, again, out of all the biopics I've seen, it's probably my favorite. I listened to a lot more Elton John and Queen music, but
Elvis is just
no, what
something
the
else
fuck
for
is
you.
it? Bohemian Rhapsody. It felt like Queen, but also felt like it wasn't at all. They felt like they were trying to do so much with that movie, and it kind of went whatever. And Rocket Man was this huge
That's how I
spectacle,
felt
which
with.
is
That's
Elton
how I
John.
felt with Elvis. I felt like Elvis was trying too much, and then when I finished the movie, I walked away learning absolutely nothing about Elvis. I just watched a really good performance, but I learned
feel like
nothing
you just
about
don't know how to
Elvis.
watch movies, Ben.
How the wait? How the hell did you not learn a single thing about Elvis?
Dude, Elvis is like, believe it or not, a very important part of my life. And I watched that movie and I was like, I can't remember anything. It felt like when I was watching it, I was just
You're
watching.
trolling me, right?
No.
Are you trolling?
No. I felt nothing watching Elvis.
You felt nothing, so you had no emotional
Nothing.
connection at the end of the movie.
Not really.
Not
Damn.
even the scene at the airplane. Not the airplane scene.
I think Austin Butler gave a phenomenal
Damn.
performance, but I just did not care.
That's wild.
This is my Banshees.
Wow.
This is my Banshees.
This is my nope. You hurt me with that. All right, are we going to number one?
No. It's my number 2.
Yeah, you forgot
then
Ben. Garrett.
Oh, I don't know why.
I was too busy talking about Elvis.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought that was your 2 for a second.
All right,
You
my
literally
number
said it's not even in your top 20. My bad.
No. My number 2 has the highest score that I gave any movie this year, which I rated everything like Garrett did, based off of enjoyability, not how good the movie was made. After Sun. That film, I know Matthew would hate it. I know Miles would probably hate it. I feel like Garrett would probably like it. But like, you're just watching a film about a daughter and a father who go on a vacation, and that's it. And then you get to the last 3 minutes, and then you realize what the movie was actually about, and then you're stuck sobbing in your bed.
You sob in your bed, not in your living room.
What a loser.
My TV's here.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, that movie was heartbreaking. I don't want to spoil what the movie was actually about, but
I definitely plan on watching it. I think I'll make like an updated top 10 of 2022. But like,
Yeah.
after I watched everything I wanted to go.
After I watched more, yeah.
Well, because I wanted to watch X and Pearl too, but I have no interest in them. So I was like, let me watch the movies that I actually want to watch that I think would be on my top 10.
Dude, okay, hold up. I tried doing that. So there was this one movie I wanted to watch called Tar, and it had Kate Blanchett in it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this movie sounds pretty interesting. I got 30 minutes in that movie. That movie is so fucking boring.
Dude, I tried to bootleg Babylon, and my computer almost got a virus. I was like, damn, they're not trying to let me watch this movie. But okay, so the number one spot of the year I have at a 9.6 Avatar, The Way of the Water.
Wow.
So let me tell you, man. So for those who don't know, I really fucking love Avatar. I really love that. I do
too.
See, I don't talk about it because there's not a lot of people that I know that fuck with Avatar. But the Na'vi to me are hands down one of the most sacred people I've ever met in my life, and I've never met a single one of them. They're fake people.
Well, let's not lie. James Cameron's just following Avatar: The Last Airbender right now.
I believe to an extent, but I also have a theory on that. Well, anyway, so when I was watching this movie, I was watching it with 4 other people. And I would look to my left and right every once in a while, and they all had like these blank expressions. And I don't know if it was just me, but this movie was 3 hours and 20 minutes long, and it felt like it was about an hour and a half for me.
Yeah, it didn't feel that long. Yeah.
It flew by for me. I was so in love with this movie. I don't cry at movies. I teared up so bad. Let me tell you, when my homie dies,
that's what almost got me. I was like, oh my.
And listen, Jake Sully is a great father. He is a dickhead in this movie, but he needs to be a dickhead.
He's a great father.
And I saw a review saying Jake Sully is a bad father because he just shits on his kids the whole time. But they're in a war against sky people. He can't tell his kids, "Hey man, you're grounded. Go to your room." He's got to tell them, "Stop being a dumbass, or unless one of us is going to die." And one of them dies, and it breaks you. And I'm gonna watch it again. I'm probably gonna watch it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 100 more times because I love this movie so much. It's slowly creeping into my top 10 movies of all time. I don't know what it is. Dude, this movie was so, and Ben is pissed about that statement. I know he is. He's so mad. But I also like to say, as as a standalone film, and let's say it's not the Na'vi, it's normal people. This movie is still very
Insane.
good. It's heartwarming, it's heartbreaking. The cinematography. This is definitely my number one for the cinematography of the year. It's so perfect.
Dude,
And
stop
I know
talking about
Miles is-
Avatar. My phone's listening. I'm getting nothing but Avatar pictures.
See, Miles gave this shit a 7.7 or some shit like that.
No
which
shot.
no, hold up.
Okay,
I need to explain
okay. That's my
myself.
number one though.
I need to explain
Avatar,
myself
number one.
here because I didn't like the first one, and I was a kid when I watched it. And if a kid
So
doesn't like
rewatch it.
no,
Rewatch it, Miles.
because if I'm a kid and I don't like a movie, I'm never gonna rewatch it. Never.
I can see where you're coming from, but a 7.7 is just
That's
it's fucked.
insane.
No, because
It doesn't even
think about it
make
like
so
this.
good.
Think about it like this: the characters that they try to make you resonate with, like they're only in this movie, and yet, most of them are kids because they're the kids of what the fuck their names are. I don't remember. Jake Sully.
It's Tawatea and
Anyway,
never mind.
basically,
That's besides
at some point in this movie, his son dies, and Ben was harping on Elvis, and I'm like, damn, why is he like that? But I understand where he was coming from now because I felt the same way with Avatar because I have felt nothing this entire movie, and I went to the bathroom for 15 minutes just to be on my phone, and I missed nothing in that movie.
Okay, you'll go back. You're going to see it again.
That's cap.
I missed
Bro,
nothing.
yeah. What do you mean?
The ending was
Okay.
too damn long. That's what I'm saying. Spider
You
was
know what James Cameron
unimportant.
said? You know what James Cameron said? It's okay to go to the bathroom. You're going to come back.
I'm not coming back to that shit.
No, okay. So moving on, because I gotta go. My number one is the Batman at a 9.6. The cinematography is insane. The detective side of this is the best detective side of Batman we will get until Matt Reeves does another one. It's just, I can't even put it to words. It's such a good movie.
Damn. Are you out of here, Matthew?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
head out.
Bye, Matthew.
Well, it's an interesting pick because I don't typically watch these kind of movies, but it's All Quiet on the Western Front at a 9.6. For some reason, I don't watch really a lot of war movies, but when I do, there's just this connection to the characters. And with 1917 being, I think, my third favorite movie of all time, I can't say it hit home because I've never been in a war, but the emotion in this movie was so impactful because they felt like actual people going through a scenario that they didn't know what was going to happen. Because at one point in this movie, they're like, we're just signing up for this. This is going to be fun. And they admit to themselves, they're like, this is not at all what I thought was going to happen. I hate this. I want to go home. And they start crying. And I'm like, holy shit. And just the ending alone in this movie, I'm like,
You got me
holy
thinking about
fuck.
the ending.
The ending, holy shit. I'm like, there's no way that this happens. And then I was swearing to God, I'm like, there's no way. And then it happens, and I'm like, fuck you, movie.
Never steal eggs.
Apparently. But you can still
All right.
Wait, what was your number one?
All Quiet on the Western Front. It's a German movie.
Wait, did the Batman not make your top 10?
No superhero movie this year made my top 10.
Crazy.
Bonkers.
That's crazy.
Well, okay, hold up. You guys remember when we wanted to go see the Batman? Ben was loving the movie, and Matthew loved
I
it
saw it
too.
twice. We saw it twice.
I watched it, and I'm like, it's a DC movie. It's a good DC movie.
I'm with you, Miles. I'm with you. And we
See,
already know what
that's
Ben's number
even the
one
most
is.
disrespectful. It's not a good DC movie. It's a good movie.
No, I mean,
All right,
think about
Benjamin
it.
Butt.
Think about it. If Batman is a good movie, yes, and you can take away the aspects of it being Batman and still being a good movie, but with it having the Batman moniker, I feel like more people are bound to watch it because it has that DC aspect to it, not because it's also a good movie.
Obviously.
That's my point. And so
I don't
it's
I don't know what your point is. That's just how things work.
but like it's not an amazing movie. I don't think
Wrong.
but it's also not a bad movie. Movie's
Wrong.
long as shit. Doesn't need to be as long as it is.
All right, Ben, continue the Batman convo because we already know it's your number one.
Give me
At a
2 seconds.
9.4. He's gonna dress like Batman, isn't he?
He's putting on the mask.
I hope so. I'm gonna screen grab that and put it in the thumbnail.
Oh, I'm already getting my camera out.
If we're talking about Batman, the cinematography is probably, and the acting is probably the best thing about this movie.
Oh yeah, top 3, dude. Without the cinematography, this movie's pretty shit.
Yeah, it's pretty basic.
Like, I
detective
think-
story. Thumbnail time. Thumbnail time.
My number 1 is the Batman.
It's the Batman.
Vengeance. Dude, I can't see. This movie was exactly what I wanted and more from a Batman movie. This is the movie that I've bought the most merchandise from.
Besides Back to the Future.
I didn't buy most of that stuff. Most of those are gifts. I gotta take this off.
I got my screen grab for the thumbnail.
Good. Okay. This movie perfectly encapsulates the detective side of Batman. It is the most beautiful looking movie of the year. The best score of the year. It got completely snubbed
No.
for Oscar noms. And I think everyone can agree it has the best score.
No.
Then what?
All Quiet on the
Black
Western
Panther
Front.
Wakanda Forever. Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
All Quiet on the Western Front has a more emotional impact on the score than the Batman.
I think
Also,
All Quiet
North-
has the second best score. But we all agree that it's in the top
Well,
5.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, top
I
5.
it's in
I
the
don't think
top
it's number
5.
1.
I think it's at 5.
Name 4 others.
Avatar, Northman. That's factual. Black
Can
Panther.
you remember the Northman score?
Of course. Now, can I remember it perfectly? No.
No.
I also don't even remember the Batman score. If I'm being honest, I don't remember the Batman score
Bro,
at
what do
all.
you mean?
All I remember is something in the way.
That's a soundtrack.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's all. That's the only somewhat soundtrack score that I remember from the movie.
It's so
Well, 'cause
good.
I was mentioning to Garrett when you were getting your apparel ready. I had told him without the cinematography and the acting, this movie's pretty basic.
Oh, we're gonna get shit on for that, Miles. Oh, we're getting hate for that. But
1000%.
I also, I think the Batman is a very good detective story, and I think that his portrayal of Batman is good. It's very good, even. But the stadium scene. If that was not lit as well as it was, and if it was just,
What stadium scene?
is that the
With
stadium
with the
wherever they're
politician
at?
lady, I think. Is it
Yeah,
the
Oh,
the
I thought
lady,
you were talking
like
about Dark Knight Rises.
No. That is a very visual scene when it gets dark and we bring in the red tones. Without that, I don't think it's that much. But I think the cinematography makes this movie better because of the betrayal of Batman. You have to, those two together, it goes hand in hand. You know
That
what I mean?
opening scene where he's giving the whole speech where he's like, they're scared of the shadows, but I am the shadows. That's a perfect opening to a movie of making criminals actually like fear darkness and not because of what's in the darkness. And even though he's not there, it perfectly put in the fear that Batman brings into everyone. And
I'd agree.
I think this is a perfect representation of just Batman as an entity, like how everyone
agree.
sees Batman. And in any other Batman movie, we didn't get that detective aspect. Like The Dark Knight has some detective stuff, but like nothing like this of him being at the crime scenes, collecting the evidence.
Right.
But yeah, that's my number 1. I could talk about it for years.
Well, there it goes. That is the top 10 for the dorms of the year. Well, obviously, we'll talk about a lot more movies this year. Expect a lot more content. 2023, we are coming at you guys with a shit ton of stuff. So be excited, be prepared. I know we're excited to start making it, man. It's going to be a good year for us. Well, that'll do it for today. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Have a good rest of your day, guys. I got to get to work though, so I will see you boys later.
Later.